In the heart of Africa, where ancient traditions and dark secrets intertwine, lies a village haunted by a terrifying mystery. This is the story of the Bleeding Tree, a tale of sacrifice, courage, and the power of truth. Deep in the lush forests of Nigeria, there stands a tree unlike any other. Once a year, as the moon reaches its fullest, this tree bleeds. But it's not sap that flows from its bark, it's blood. And with every drop that falls, a young, innocent life is claimed. For generations, the people of Umuofia have lived in fear of this cursed tree. They've watched helplessly as their children, pure and untouched, are taken from them. No family is safe from its hunger. No one knows when their turn will come. But in this village of despair, one girl dares to question the unquestionable. Her name is Adana, and her bravery will shake the very foundations of Umuofia. What she uncovers will change everything. And what she does next? Well, that's a twist you won't see coming. This is a story that will keep you on the edge of your seat. It's a tale of horror, of hope, and of the strength that lies within us all. So sit back, listen closely, and prepare to be transported to a world where the line between myth and reality blurs. Our story begins on a night like any other in Umuofia. The air is thick with humidity, and the chirping of crickets fills the darkness. But there's tension in the air, a palpable fear that grips every heart. For tonight is the night of the full moon, and everyone knows what that means. In a small hut on the outskirts of the village, young Adana sits with her family. Her mother, Nika, stares anxiously out the window, while her father, Obinna, paces back and forth. Adana's little brother, Chidi, clings to her, his eyes wide with fear. "Will it happen tonight, Ada?" Chidi whispers, his voice trembling. Adana pulls him close, trying to hide her own fear. "I don't know, Chidi. But we must be brave." As the night wears on, a terrible scream pierces the air. It's coming from the center of the village, where the Bleeding Tree stands. The villagers rush out of their homes, drawn by a morbid curiosity they can't resist. There, at the base of the tree, lies the body of a young girl. Blood drips from the tree's branches, staining the ground around her. The village elder, a wizened man named Woy, steps forward. "The tree has chosen," he announces solemnly. "Edes, daughter of Akin, has been taken. May her soul find peace." The villagers bow their heads in sorrow and resignation. This is the way it has always been. This is the price they pay for what? Adana finds herself wondering. Why do they accept this horror without question? As the days pass, Adana can't shake these thoughts. She watches as Daisy's family mourns, as the village tries to return to normal. But for her, nothing will ever be normal again. One evening, as the sun sets over the village, Adana approaches her grandmother, Obiajeli. The old woman sits outside her hut, her eyes distant as if looking into the past. Adana says softly, using the affectionate term for grandmother, "I need to ask you something." Obiajeli turns to her, a knowing look in her eyes. "You want to know about the tree, don't you?" Adana nods, her heart pounding. "Why does it bleed? Why must someone die? There must be a reason." The old woman sighs heavily. "It's a long and dark story, child. One that goes back to the very founding of our village. Are you sure you want to hear it?" "I need to know," Adana insists. Obiajeli nods slowly. "Very well. Many generations ago, when our ancestors first came to this land, they found it barren and lifeless. No crops would grow, no animals would thrive. The people were starving." She pauses, her eyes clouding with the weight of memory. In their desperation, they turned to dark magic. They made a pact with an evil spirit. In exchange for making the land fertile, the spirit demanded a sacrifice. Once a year, it would take the life of an innocent. Adana listens, horror growing in her heart. But why? Why would our ancestors agree to such a thing? They believed they had no choice, Obiajeli says sadly. And now, we are bound by their decision. If we fail to provide the sacrifice, the spirit will take back its gift. Our land will wither, and we will all perish. As Adana walks back to her hut, Her mind reels with this new knowledge. She can't accept that this is the only way. There must be something they can do to break this curse. Over the next weeks, Adana begins to research. She sneaks into the elder's hut, reading ancient scrolls and studying forgotten rituals. She listens to the stories of the oldest villagers, piecing together fragments of lore. And slowly, a plan begins to form in her mind. A dangerous, desperate plan that could either save her village or doom them all. On the night of the next full moon, as the village gathers around the bleeding tree, Adana steps forward. Her family watches in horror as she approaches the trunk, a small knife clutched in her hand. "Stop!" Boy shouts. "What are you doing, child?" Adana turns to face the crowd, her eyes blazing with determination. "I'm ending this," she declares. "I've discovered the truth. The spirit that demands our sacrifice is not all-powerful. It can be defeated." A murmur runs through the crowd. Some look hopeful, others skeptical. Boy steps forward, his face stern. "This is blasphemy," he warns. "You risk bringing doom upon us all." But Adana stands her ground. "We've lived in fear for too long," she says. "It's time to fight back." With these words, she turns and plunges the knife into the trunk of the tree. For a moment, nothing happens. Then, a terrible shriek fills the air. The tree begins to writhe and twist, its branches thrashing wildly. The villagers cry out in fear, but Adana doesn't falter. She begins to chant the words she's discovered, her voice growing stronger with each syllable. As she speaks, the air around the tree begins to shimmer. A dark, shadowy form emerges, the spirit that has tormented them for so long. It lunges at Adana, but she stands firm, continuing her chant. The spirit howls in rage and pain, its form flickering and fading. The villagers watch in awe as it grows weaker and weaker. Finally, with one last terrible cry, it vanishes. For a moment, there's silence. Then, slowly, the tree begins to change. The blood flowing from its bark turns clear, becoming pure water. Leaves sprout from its branches, vibrant and green. Adana turns to face her people, her eyes shining with tears of joy and relief. "It's over," she says softly. "We're free." The village erupts in cheers. People rush forward to embrace Adana, to touch the transformed tree. Parents hug their children, knowing they're finally safe. In the days that follow, Umuofia begins to change. The fear that has gripped them for so long starts to fade. They plant new crops, build new homes. For the first time in generations, they look to the future with hope instead of dread. And at the center of it all stands the tree, no longer a symbol of death and sacrifice, but of life and renewal. It's clear, pure water nourishes the land, making it more fertile than ever before. Adana becomes a hero to her people. But more than that, she becomes a symbol of what can be achieved when someone has the courage to question, to seek the truth, and to fight for what's right. As the sun sets on Umuofia, casting a golden glow over the village, Adana stands before the tree. She places her hand on its trunk, feeling the life pulsing within it. "We will never forget," she whispers. "But we will no longer live in fear. This is our new beginning." And so, the story of the bleeding tree becomes a legend, not of horror and sacrifice, but of bravery and triumph. It's a reminder that even the darkest curses can be broken, and that the power to change our destiny lies within us all. In villages across Africa, as night falls and families gather around flickering fires, this tale is told. It serves as a beacon of hope, a call to courage, and a testament to the strength of the human spirit. For in the end, it's not the magic of spirits or the weight of tradition that shapes our world. It's the choices we make, the questions we dare to ask, and the courage we find within ourselves to fight for a better future. And so as the stars twinkle overhead, and the warm African night embraces the land, the story of Adana and the bleeding tree lives on, a timeless reminder that in the face of darkness one brave soul can light the way for all.